Okay, 2001 Mercedes ml320 w163 chassis. I'm going to be draining the coolant today. I was meaning to do this in the fall, didn't get around to it. So I'm going to drain flush, get rid of that. Start your car, run it, heat it up pretty good, at least 15 minutes. Turn your thermostat or your temperature gauge, your heater temperature, turn it to high and leave it there, because you want to drain the heater core as well. You want to get all the crap that's out of the heater core, the old coolant that's in there, out as well. And then we're going to come down to the front and got a big bucket underneath, and the radiator drain is a bit of a pain to get to. So going down under in front by the two bolts that hold the bumper in, or one of the bolts on the passenger side. Ugh. Right there, you'll see the drain plug. It's got a flat right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a flat plug on it, or a flat end on it. Here, let me turn the camera off. I'm going to get a light and show you in a second. Hold on. Okay, so there's the flat little plug that you have to unscrew. It's kind of a pain to get to. Got a wire here for my front light. Anyway, you have to get a pair of pliers on that and turn it, unscrew it. I can get around from the back, whatever, but anyway, that's the little drain plug you have to unplug. And on the back of the rad, there's a little hole that the coolant's going to come out of, and get yourself a big flat bucket to stick underneath. And we're going to drain that, and when that's done draining, I'll be back in a minute to flush it out. Pretty high on the list of stupid locations for a drain plug. You got to use pliers and get in behind that. It's just a right pain in the ass to get up under there and get to that plug. Which you can't even see at the moment. Anyway, there's the water coming out. And remove the expansion tank cap to allow the air to get in there and push it out quicker. So again, this is going to drain, and then I'm going to refill it with regular tap water. Run the engine for about 10 minutes to get everything circulated, drain again, and then I'm going to add coolant. So anyway, I'll let that drain, be back in a few minutes. Okay, regarding coolant, this is a question that always comes up. Mercedes-Benz original coolant, very expensive. OEM brand coolant that is specifically made for Mercedes-Benz. I've used this in the past with no problems whatsoever. I've never used the Xerox Go5, which a lot of people recommend using and that they use. These are the only two I've ever used in a Mercedes. Is the Mercedes-Benz stuff and the OEM coolant. And this stuff is really good. It's got a 250,000 kilometer rating on it too. It's kind of expensive, like $23 for the jug, but I think the Mercedes is up around 40. So, you know, either way, this is nitrite, phosphate free, blah 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 blah, all the other stuff. And this one is a premix. Why did I get a premix? Damn it! I usually get the non-premix. Well, I guess I bought distilled water for nothing. When you flush your car, when you flush the cooling system, you can use regular tap water. But if you're filling 50-50, if you're not using pre-mixed, which is already a 50-50 mix of water, it'll say pre-mix on it if it's pre-mixed. The Mercedes stuff is not pre-mix, it's, you have to add water to it. And if you add water, use distilled water only. No, that's French. Canada, so you get French and English. Distilled water. Don't use regular water, don't use tap water, don't use bottled water. Distilled water only. This is $1.69 for a gallon. So it's not exactly expensive. Do not cheap out for $1.60 and use tap water. You can use tap water to do the flush, and then you're going to drain all of that out, and then you're going to put the distilled water and coolant mix, or this one's 50-50, so I'm not putting any of that distilled water in. I guess I'll put that in my coffee maker. Anyway, again, be back after the draining. Okay, so it's done draining, and I'm just going to take the hose and blast out and clear out the expansion tank, because there's always going to be crud in there. it gathers to the foam coming out. Doesn't matter if it drips all over your engine, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just a little bit of coolant, a little bit of water. I'm just going to blast that through a few times and let it drain out. And once it's done draining this time, I'm going to tighten the little drain valve at the bottom, fill up, start the car, run it for 10 minutes, and let the water circulate so it gets the stuff out of the heater core. Again, it's very, very, very important when you do it. Turn your heater to high temperature, and turn the fan on at least one. It doesn't matter if you have the fan on. It doesn't have to be on the highest fan speed, as long as the temperature gauge is, or temperature dial is turned to hot, so that the valve can be opened to allow coolant in. And the coolant's going to come through this hose here that goes into your heater core inside the engine compartment in there. And also squeeze your hoses a little bit to blast coolant out. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to wait for that to stop dripping out and then refill with water and run the engine for a few minutes. So I'll start recording again when that's going on. Okay, so the drain valve is closed. Not all the way. I didn't close. I mean, it might drip 1 or 2 drops here and there. You can see it dripping. Sorry, it's getting a little bit dark out. It doesn't look like it on camera. It's getting a little bit dark. And this water started the car, turned the heater on full hot, and I'm just going to wait for the temperature to get up to normal operating temperature, which is around just above 80 degrees. And once it gets there, I'm going to re-drain it and drain everything out. Your old coolant, don't throw it in the forest. Don't Exxon Valdez it in the middle of a lake or something. Put it in whole bottles and return it to a recycling center. That's why you save your old oil bottles and stuff. That's why they're sitting there, to be refilled and thrown in. I will give you the refill specs in 2 seconds. I think it's 9 liters, but I'm not 100% sure. I got to check my manual. I will check it and let you know in a few minutes. Like I said, I'm just going to get up the temperature, then drain this out, and after that we're good to go to refill. Now the way to test and check that your coolant is flowing, the water that's flushing in is flowing, is feel the upper rad hose. Careful of the fan. The upper rad hose will start getting hot when the coolant starts. When the thermostat opens, the hot coolant comes out at the top, and then it flows down and gets cold as it's going to the bottom. It comes out cold at the bottom. This hasn't heated up yet. A little warm. I don't have a lot of feeling in my fingers, but I can feel the pressure. There's the back of my hand. It's not hot yet. You can also rev your engine a little bit to speed things up. So that upper rad hose is definitely getting warm. So I'm going to check my temperature. Above 80 degrees. Feel that there's hot air coming out of the cooling, out of the heating. If there's no hot air coming out of there, you got real problems. That means that you've got no hot water getting into your heater core. Okay, so this is warming up. Okay, so I'm going to drain all the water that I've used to flush it, and then refill. After a few minutes, by the way, refill capacity is 12 liters, not 9. 12 liters. 11 point something quarts in US, or Imperial. Anyway, 12 liters, so I will be back in a minute after I drain this. It's going to take about 10 minutes. And turn off your car. Oh, quick important reminder on this drain plug. It does not come all the way out. Don't try and force it and keep turning and turning to get it all the way out. It unscrews about 1 turn, and then it's going to start flowing. It's not going to flow much more than this. So Relax and let it flow. Don't keep trying to turn it. You're just going to break it. It doesn't pull all the way out, as far as I know. And I'm not taking any chances and breaking it. So I'll just take the 10 minutes that it takes for this to drain. And again, removing the expansion tank cap will let it drain faster. That's what all the pissing you're going to get out of it, so it'll take about 5-10 minutes. Okay, just finishing off. It's now completely dark out. I had to run and do some other stuff. I put about a gallon of coolant, concentrate, and a gallon of water, distilled water in. Full level. I've got the car idling. Of course, the drain valve is closed now. And we'll let it warm up the temperature, and then check after you drive it for a few miles, check the coolant level and top up if you need to. And top up with, you want your mixture to be basically 50-50, half coolant, half water, and make sure you juggle either say pre-mix or concentrate. If it's concentrate, you have to add the same amount that you add in coolant of distilled water. If it's pre-mix, you just dump it in. But concentrate is always a much better deal. It's cheaper. I think for 2 gallons of the Mercedes OEM concentrate, 2 gallons of that, you see it says Mercedes-benz, 2 gallons of that, or sorry, 1 gallon of this concentrate is $28, and I think it's $19 for a premix. So you're a much better deal. You're basically getting 2 gallons of coolant for another $9. I'm getting an extra gallon. In Canada, anyway, that's the price I'm paying. So anyway, I'm going to let the engine idle up to temperature. Using the rad hose to get any bubbles out. You don't really need to squeeze it to get the bubbles out. This is a self-bleeding system. There's no bleeder on this. There's no bleeding procedure. It will self-bleed. The coolant reservoir is way up top. All the air will migrate up there and come out. And when you're filling, fill it slowly because it's got chambers. These little sections inside the reservoir. That's so that every time you turn a corner, the coolant doesn't slosh over and come out the overflow. So when you're filling it, the one on the left will fill up really quick and take a while to move over to the other one. So kind of like filling a battery, if you remember ever filling old batteries. So you fill it slowly so it doesn't slosh out. It takes a while to go over to the next sections inside the expansion tank. And that's basically about it. Like I said, it's self-bleeding. You don't have to go for any bleeding procedure. To speed it up, you can squeeze the rad hose. As you squeeze, you can see the coolant moves inside the reservoir. There's no air flowing out to there. But there will be a bit of air that's trapped in the system that will get out and eventually come up there. And you'll probably have to top it up a little bit. But anyway, that's all she wrote. Thanks for watching.